You know that feeling when you move into a new apartment
Yeah.
and for the very first time, your electricity isn't actually included in the rent?
Oh, yeah. You suddenly become hyper aware of everything.
Right, like you walk out of a room and suddenly you're sprinting back to hit the light switch because every appliance in your house just looks completely different when you can clearly see the meter running.
It's a rude awakening, for sure.
It really is. And, well, welcome to today's deep dive because right now, the entire global software industry is experiencing that exact terrifying realization.
The all-you-can-eat buffet is officially closed.
Exactly. So today we are diving into the Tech Reader AI Digest for Monday, June 1st, 2026. This was written by Aaron Rose, and our mission today is to really unpack this sudden collision we're seeing between, grand technological ambitions and cold, hard economic reality.
Yeah, it's a massive reality check.
It is. We're going to explore three massive shifts happening right now. We've got the end of flat-rate AI coding, the incredibly awkward positioning of Microsoft's developer conference, and a $1.75 trillion IPO that is going to test the entire public market.
It's a huge week.
Okay, let's unpack this. Starting with our first major story, which Aaron Rose in the Digest brilliantly described as the shift from a gym membership to an electricity bill.
That is the perfect analogy, honestly.
Right, because today, June 1st, GitHub Copilot, which is used by almost every major development team on Earth, drops his flat-rate fiction and officially moves to usage-based token billing.
And this is a complete psychological reset for developers.
So let's look at the actual mechanics here. GitHub AI credits are now live. They're tied to actual token usage, so that's input, output, and cache tokens, all priced at 1 cent per credit.
Right, $0.01.
Yeah. And the base subscriptions remain. Right, like Pro is still $10 a month, Pro Plus is $39, Business is $19, and Enterprise is $39. But now, those just buy you corresponding dollar amount credit buckets.
Exactly. You're prepaying for the meter.
But wait, if the source explicitly says that basic code completions and next edit suggestions are still unlimited, like they don't consume credits, why are developers panicking on the Enterprise forums this morning?
Well, what's fascinating here is that the panic isn't actually about simple tab complete. I mean, human developers just don't code like that anymore.
Really? So it's not just glorified autocomplete?
No, not at all. The shift is all about what we call agentic workflows. That's the real compute burner.
Agentic workflows. Break that down for us.
So instead of just finishing a line of code, developers are running multi-step, multi-file, multi-agent sessions. They're saying, go read these 200 files, find a vulnerability, rewrite it, test it, and if it fails, read the logs and do it again.
Oh, wow. That's like hiring an automated staff.
Exactly. And every single step of that loop requires a frontier model. It's reading, writing, caching in short-term memory, which costs money by the minute, by the way, and it just burns through compute.
Which brings us to the real-world impact noted in the digest. I mean, developers are reporting that single agentic sessions are costing $30 to $40.
A single session, just let that sink in.
It's wild. One Copilot Pro Plus user actually burned roughly 8% of their entire monthly credit allocation in just one request.
Yeah, in like 3 minutes.
That's insane. So for you listening, the takeaway here is pretty clear. The promotional phase of AI is over. If your team relies on these massive automated coding tasks at scale, you're about to see a completely different kind of bill.
The promotional fiction was great for adoption, but it totally hid the true cost of the raw physical compute power required to run these models.
Which perfectly sets up our second story. Because there's a direct causal link here. GitHub is entirely owned by Microsoft. And tomorrow, June 2, literally the day after GitHub switches on this anxiety-inducing token billing, Microsoft kicks off its biggest developer conference, Microsoft Build.
The timing is just...
well, it's rough.
Yeah, it starts tomorrow at Fort Mason Center in San Francisco. Satya Nadella's 9:30 a.m. Pacific keynote is going to be an entirely AI-first pitch.
Yep, it's all about autonomous agents.
Exactly. The source confirms they're focusing on Azure AI Foundry and embedding AI at the OS level with the Windows Agent Framework. And crucially, there's no Windows 12 announcement and zero hardware.
Which means they're going all in on selling the exact tools that drive those compute costs up.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting. Nadella is basically taking the stage to launch a fleet of luxury gas-guzzling sports cars on the exact same day the gas prices just quadrupled for his users. Like, how does that message discipline hold up?
It's a genuinely awkward position. Microsoft has to sell the accounting now, not just the magic.
And if you look at the broader context the source provides, Microsoft has been fighting internal fires for a while. I mean, they had to restructure their core partnership with OpenAI.
Because OpenAI went and signed that massive $50 billion deal with Amazon, right?
Exactly. Microsoft just couldn't build data centers fast enough to handle OpenAI's compute needs. Plus, Microsoft has actually been removing Copilot from some enterprise apps lately because of user backlash.
Oh, really?
Yeah, hallucinated data, workflow friction, you name it. So tomorrow, watch for the ROI framing, return on investment.
Mhm.
Microsoft has to prove mathematically that a $40 automated coding session actually delivers more than $40 of business value.
They have to justify the power bill.
Precisely. They have to convince enterprises that burning this expensive compute is cheaper than paying human developers.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, all of these AI agents, all this massive compute requirement, it needs unimaginable physical infrastructure.
It's heavy industry now. It's not just software in the cloud.
Right. And that brings us to the ultimate test of infrastructure evaluation, the SpaceX S1 Roadshow, which begins Wednesday, June 4.
This is the bellwether.
Let's relay the numbers from the source because they are staggering. SpaceX is listing under SBCX in late June on the NASDAQ. They are targeting a $1.75 trillion valuation.
Making it the largest IPO in history.
By far. And the S1 filing revealed massive data center footprints. We're looking at fiscal year 2025 revenue of $15.8 billion, mostly from Starlink, and their first confirmed profitable year with $2.1 billion in net income.
Plus those 6 successful Starship orbital missions in late 2025.
Right. But, okay, venture capital loves these massive sci-fi numbers. They buy the dream. But will public institutional investors actually swallow a $1.75 trillion price tag, especially given Musk's unique governance structure and the massive capital expenditures required?
Aaron Rose's core argument in the digest hits on this perfectly. Venture valuations and public market valuations are entirely different beasts.
Right. Public markets look at cash flow.
Exactly. Public institutional investors like pension funds and mutual funds, they don't have to say yes. They aren't betting on the future of humanity. They're fiduciaries.
So they're going to look at the CapEx required to build thousands of these remote data centers and link them all via Starlink and ask if it's actually sustainable.
Yeah, because Starlink is rapidly becoming the physical nervous system for global AI compute. Since traditional power grids are tapped out, they have to build data centers in remote places and use Starlink for low-latency connections.
So why does this matter to the listener's broader tech portfolio? Like, if you just hold a standard index fund, why care about the SpaceX Roadshow?
Because if SpaceX prices successfully, it validates the entire infrastructure supply chain. It validates the massive $3.7 trillion tech IPO wave that's building toward Thanksgiving 2026.
Ah, so it opens the floodgates.
Yes. Dozens of AI startups and platforms are waiting in the wings. But if institutional buyers balk at $1.75 trillion, that entire $3.7 trillion wave freezes overnight.
Wow. Okay, so while these three massive stories dominate, the rest of the tech world is definitely not sitting still. We need to do a rapid-fire tour of the quick hits from the source to give you a full 360-degree view.
Everyone is maneuvering for position right now.
Right. So first up, Anthropic. Their Opus 4.8 model is out, with Mythos class access coming soon, and they're closing a $30 billion funding round.
$30 billion. Just staggering.
Yeah, the capital arms race is real.
Yeah.
Then we've got Apple. WWDC is exactly 1 week away, on June 8.
Right, the developer conference.
And the digest noted two huge things. Apple just settled a $250 million class action over delayed Siri features, which is wild. But more notably, they registered the subdomain genai.apple.com.
That is massive.
Right, because it's their first time officially using the GenAI label.
Apple usually hates industry jargon. For them to capitulate and use GenAI, it's a huge signal to Wall Street that they're entering the enterprise compute wars.
They can't sit this one out. Next up, OpenAI. The source confirms they filed a confidential S1 on May 22, aiming for a September listing.
Which ties right back to SpaceX. They're watching the public markets to see how much appetite there is for massive infrastructure spending.
Oh, absolutely. And finally, a really interesting stat on global traffic. Chinese models, specifically DeepSeek, Qwen, and ZAI, are now quietly dominating 61% of global Open Router developer API traffic.
This is pure economics at play.
How so?
Well, OpenRouter is basically a switchboard. If you're a developer running a massive agentic workflow, you aren't going to route those repetitive tasks through a premium $40 Western model.
Right, you'd go bankrupt.
Exactly. You route it to Chinese models because they're hyper-optimized for ultra-low-cost token generation.
So every player from Apple finally embracing Gen AI to Chinese models capturing global API volume is positioning themselves for this exact economic reality.
Everyone is adapting to the meter running.
Yeah. So what does this all mean for you? We are witnessing the maturation phase of AI. The free promotional rides are definitely over. The true costs of this technology are becoming incredibly public.
And the biggest infrastructure companies in the world are currently asking public markets to fit the bill.
Right. We've moved from, look how smart this is, to how are we going to pay for the electricity?
And that leads to something we all really need to think about. If a single complex AI agent task now visibly costs $30 to $40, we have to ask ourselves, will the future of productivity be about who has the best ideas or simply who has the enterprise budget to afford the compute to execute them?
That is a fascinating and kind of terrifying question to end on.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the tech landscape. Make sure you keep questioning the true cost of your tech, and we'll catch you next time.